And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the San Francisco 49ers episode. Another one of those teams that I think we could put on the, I don't know if we get to that point, but maybe the Mount Rushmore of the NFL. At least, all-time great franchise. Yeah, I got ahead of myself by saying Mount Rushmore. I have to think about it more, but they're up there anyway. An elite franchise, has quite a few Super Bowls. Actually, for a lot of my life, that kind of sucked, actually. But they've been good again for a little while here. But 49ers have a lot of Hall of Famers, some all-time greats. So I think it'll be an interesting episode. It's always interesting to see how we do with some of these teams, as there is some definite Hall of Famers to choose from. But I have faith our list can be short today. All right, Drew? Who's your number 4 49er?
Ronnie Lott.
He's also my number 4.
Also my number 4.
My number 3.
He's also my number 4.
A unanimous.
Right.
That was a good sign, gentlemen.
That's right.
I didn't screw it up, because I'm pretty sure my next 3 I'm safe.
Let's hope.
All right, well, Ronnie Lott, 10-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro. He's got 4 rings. He's part of the All-80s and All-90s team. He has 63 interceptions, 1,100 tackles, which is crazy. We got his tackles, and he played in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Got his finger off in a game because he wanted to keep playing.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I mean, you can't tell me NFL players today would do that. It'd be a very select few. They would just be out however long he was supposed to be out for. Instead, he cut it off and kept playing. So,
Yeah, that's just crazy.
it's nuts.
A safety that, 5 times in his career had 100 tackles. That's, more linebacker stuff. He 16 forced fumbles. I think Drew mentioned that. 63 interceptions. I know Drew mentioned that. 5 he returned for touchdown. It's a nice career. I mean, he's that safety that is a sure tackler. He's a thumper. You come across the middle, he makes you pay. But with 63 interceptions on top of it, I think it enters him into more of a rarefied air.
He's definitely playing coverage with 63.
Yeah.
He's not getting picked on.
He also made Pro Bowls at the cornerback position and at safety.
Right. Yeah, because he started at corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
switched to
moved him.
safety.
Yeah.
I think he made like 4 straight Pro Bowls his first 4 years as a corner, and then shifted to safety and made like another 4 or 5, whatever the number is.
At safety, he made 6 Pro Bowls, and at corner, he made 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. Start off as a corner, Pro Bowler every year, and then go to safety, and then retire as maybe the greatest safety ever. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
He's
pretty
also a 7-time All-Pro. Like 5 of those are first team.
Well, like when we talked in the Steelers and Ravens episodes about how it was phenomenal to watch Reed and Polamalu at the same time because they're both in the conversation for greatest safeties ever. Their competition's him. I mean, that is their competition is Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
And you can make a case that Ronnie Lott is better than both of them. I mean, there's a case to be made there.
Yeah, he led the league in interceptions twice in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch.
And, I don't know. Did you mention that he has 4 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, I said he had 4 Super Bowls.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Did he win one away from the 49ers?
I don't think so because he was with the Jets. They don't have any. And then he played
Was
with
it the Raiders?
The Raiders.
91
They
and
didn't win in the
92.
90s, though.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That was the end of his career, so. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, does anybody else have anything to add on old Ronnie Lott before we move on?
No.
No. So, Wade, you have a 4 left, correct?
Yeah.
Who's your number 4?
Steve Young.
He's my number 3.
That's my number 3.
He's my number 3.
That's also my number 3.
All right.
When Ray was quiet, I thought he left him off for a second. I was like, you got to be kidding me, Ray.
There might come a time.
I feel.
It's coming along, boys. It's coming along.
It is.
Steve Young, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks. I mean, everyone knows I love Peyton Manning, but I've always kind of been fascinated with Steve Young. He was not only once he got a chance to fully start and not be on the Buccaneers, he really exceeded and won MVPs, won a Super Bowl MVP. He had the record for QB rating for a long time before it got broke for a career, I believe, there for a little while. And he had some rushing records there for a while, too. I think he had the rushing record, touchdown rushing record for a quarterback before Cam Newton broke it, I think. I think he had it, I believe.
I don't know. I have no idea. It might be true. I have no idea.
I believe he ran for like 4,000 or 5,000 yards on top of his passing stats that were also done in a pretty limited window.
Yeah, threw for 33,000 yards, 232 touchdowns, 64% completion percentage.
Yeah, he rushed for 4,200 yards in his career and 43 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And, the part that caught me off guard, and I always thought, or knew that Steve Young was really great, but he led the league in completion percentage 5 times. He led the league in touchdown passes 4 times. And this is not an interception guy. This is not a guy that was like, hey, well, he also threw 30 interceptions 3 times in his career. That stuff wasn't happening.
No.
He barely got into double digits. There was a majority of the years of his career he didn't even get double digits. So, he's got some really minuscule interception years over the course of his career. I think it'd really be different to see what his career looked like if he would have gotten to play from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he had 20 years of being on the 49ers.
Well,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, besides the couple years of Tampa Bay, he actually started in the USFL.
Yeah.
He started with L.A.
Yeah, because
I don't remember how many years he played there. But
his rookie season in Tampa, he's 24, so I'm going to guess he
Right.
played he definitely played a season, if not 2 seasons over there.
So,
But he didn't actually start playing full time until he was 30.
yeah.
So, even if he started playing at 25, 5 more seasons of
Right.
stats to add to this,
Yeah.
statistically he could be pretty crazy. But he played from 30 to 38 essentially.
He's got the 3 Super Bowls, including a Super Bowl MVP, a couple MVPs, Player of the Year.
Well,
he was pretty amazing.
that's a weird one too. I'm not arguing with you, but he has 3 Super Bowls, but he was only the starting quarterback for one of them.
Right. Yeah.
So it's one of those weird things. I think we brought it up on another episode, on the Eagles episode. Is does Carson Wentz the Super Bowl count?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he was the MVP of the one that he was the starter.
Yes.
So
Well, how old is he when he is fully starting for the 49ers?
30.
30.
Yeah.
So he pretty much starts his career at 30.
And it ends at 38.
Yeah.
So.
And he accomplishes all this.
It's pretty amazing in 8
That's
years.
how nuts. Yeah.
But at the same time, though, maybe he wouldn't have played much longer because, they talk about after his career, he was really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of shots he took.
He ran a lot. And
Yeah.
He physically ran. He didn't do the whole out of bounds thing like they do now in sliding. Well, he has that real famous run where he loses the helmet and keeps running, and it's a preseason game. It's not even a real game. That's a preseason. He's in his mid-30s, and he loses his helmet, and then he's diving, trying to get in the end zone, and people are trying to tackle him. And that's just how he ran and how he played.
Yeah. Well, I read a book about him one time, and one of the stories they told was, I believe he was the 100-meter dash champion, state champion in high school. Besides being a great quarterback, one reason he ran was he was fast.
I think he's also freakishly smart. He went on, I've heard people talk about it on ESPN and podcasts and stuff, and then he ended up going on Jeopardy and just destroyed everyone on Jeopardy. It was I think he's freakishly intelligent. There was some other stuff about how smart he was. I just don't remember all of it.
I never knew he was on Jeopardy.
It's one of those game shows like that. I'm pretty sure it's Jeopardy.
That's something when you ask Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, well, I don't know where I would rank Steve Young on my all-time quarterback list or anything, but he's definitely a great quarterback.
Yeah, he was.
Well, he's probably pretty close, if not inside the top 10, a top 10 all-time quarterback. And he's not even top 2 in his own franchise. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reason he started his career late is because he was sitting behind an all-time great quarterback.
Right.
Which somebody that most people have well inside the top 10.
Yeah.
So, it's not anything to be embarrassed about. It's not like he was sitting behind, Vinny Testaverde or something.
Right.
All right, well, so does everybody done with their 4s and 3s?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, Uncle Doug, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Joe Montana.
So is mine.
So was mine.
So is mine.
My number 2 is Jerry Rice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's my number 1.
He's my number
He's
one.
my number one.
He's my number 1.
So we got a
there we
perfect
go.
week.
Well, I think Jerry Rice is the greatest player in NFL history, so I couldn't put him at number 2 on the on his own
I
team.
think Jerry. Yeah.
So we're perfect.
So we're perfect.
We're perfect.
We're perfect.
The 2 perfect episodes now, guys. Look at us.
And let me just throw out an honorable mention to porn star Jimmy, who seems to just be hated by his own team, but somehow they just keep bringing him back, and he still conquers. So
Still conquer.
Conquers what? Football or porn stars?
Both.
passively winning a game, and I don't know what he really does in his personal time.
No, did you see?
It's called that for a reason.
Oh God, never mind.
Go ahead, spit it out. It's
No,
a
it
vulgar
was-
podcast. Anyway.
No, did you see that right at the Warriors game?
The cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all look at Jimmy and Kittle's like, guys, I'm here too.
He's a good-looking guy.
50 Shades of Jimmy.
But his hair's starting to go gray. I noticed that the other night. We took his helmet off after the game. I was like, he's going gray. Anyway, before we go off on too many tangents, we need to discuss Joe Montana.
Right.
So, Uncle Doug, what do you got on old Joe there?
Well, of course, 4 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular MVPs, 2 regular player of the year, 8 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pros, over 40,000 passing yards, 273 touchdowns, 63% completion percentage.
And over twice as many touchdowns as interceptions.
Yeah. 13 years with San Francisco, 2 with KC. And I think it was you and I talking the other day about the John Candy story.
Yeah.
That's a classic Joe Montana. In the playoff game, everybody's nervous. They need the drive to make it, and they get in the huddle, and he looks over at the bleachers and goes, "Hey guys, isn't that John Candy in the stands?" And they're all instantly just relaxed and comfortable, and like, Joe's not worried. He's looking at the celebrities in the stands. That's the way he was. He
Is
just
it his
exuded
name?
that.
Isn't his name Joe Cool nickname?
So yeah,
It was just always.
of course the catch with Dwight Clark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy fans will never forget that.
To be honest with you, if you say what's the most iconic play in NFL history, to me it's that. You see it everywhere. They
Yeah.
show it every Sunday.
Right. I mean,
They
it
showed every freaking
it was amazing.
weekend in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's definitely up there.
Or anytime the 49ers and Cowboys play, remember the catch.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, huh?
So,
100%.
and I mean, Montana had some great, at least a few great comebacks in college too. I believe there was it the Cotton Bowl? He and Notre Dame, and I forget who they were beating, or they were losing to, and he brought them back and won.
No, he hates on the movie Rudy. He says all of it's not true.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, he's like went out in public and he says them turning in their jerseys and not playing, not true. I can't. There's like an interview online and stuff, and he like hates on the movie and says like he was there, and like none of that happened. I'm like, okay, Joe Montana, just hate on one of everyone's favorite football movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he.
So the Rudy story happened while Montana was at Notre Dame?
Montana was a freshman.
He would have been, barely into it, yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't realize that. I never put that together, I guess.
But yeah, people were watching it in psychology, and they showed us the interview. He was not happy. He's like, yeah, none of that happened.
Well, I think some of it probably happened, but probably not all of it.
Well, he said when he saw the movie, so they took that way out of.
Yes,
They
I
do.
don't doubt that.
Make it
Oh yeah.
much more dramatic.
But it was
for
just
movies
funny
and
because
stuff.
Joe Montana, like, he just.
Well, have you seen interviews with what's his name, Orr?
Michael Orr.
Michael Orr. He says that movie's mostly fake.
Yeah.
Like he really did get taken in by
Right, the Tuohys.
the Tuohys and all that stuff. He's like, but a lot of the movie's not real. Like he's like, it didn't go down anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Hollywood dramatizes everything. I mean, that's just what they do
Sure.
to make movies.
And you wonder how much that's. And of course, I think he was also a little sensitive about some of the needing help with his studies and some of those things, which I think were true. Not because he's not an intelligent person, but because he just wasn't going to school.
Yeah.
And they had to get him caught up. But
well, anyway, back to Joe Montana. He also led the league in completion percentage 5 times. He led the league in touchdowns twice. Again, another guy that didn't throw a lot of interceptions. Only threw, again, a guy that squeaked into the double digits handful of times over his career, but no huge numbers. Never threw no more picks than touchdowns or anything like that. So yeah. I've often wondered too if he would have been there, would they have won the Steve Young Super Bowl?
yeah,
I mean, it's not like Montana was washed up at that point.
right.
He played well in Kansas City, so it's like, I don't know, would they have won another one with him? Probably.
Yeah,
You
you never
know?
know. Now, where in the Montana Young thing did the coaching change come in? Because Steve Young's Super Bowl was with Seifert. And I know the first couple of Montanas were with Walsh. Did he play under Seifert as well, or did he just play for Walsh?
That I don't know.
Why did Walsh leave?
He played under Seifert.
Okay.
Why did Walsh leave?
I think he just retired. He may have. I mean, I think he became like general manager or moved up within the president of football operations or one of those executive kind of jobs.
I didn't know, so I'm just wondering.
Let's see. When did they win? What years was it? I just had it, and here we go. So yeah, I think he won it. Montana won a ring with Seifert.
Okay.
And so Bill Walsh went out on top as a coach. They won a title with Walsh, and then he retired. And the very next year, they went back and won another title, only with Seifert.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember the timeline of the changes there.
That was 88 and 89. So, but then I was just looking at some of his numbers. So, in 1989, which was also his last healthy year with San Francisco, because he misses that entire season with an elbow injury, and then they trade him. So, in 89, his last healthy season in San Francisco, they play 3 games in the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. He throws for 800 yards and 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in 3 games.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know what? You can leave. That's a little
That's
crazy
tough,
to me.
yeah.
Well,
I remember at the time there was a lot of, are they making the right choice?
yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue, but
Sure.
I mean, at the same time, I often think of like the Cowboys. They bring in Jimmy Johnson, an all-time great coach. He builds them up to a monstrosity. They win 2 Super Bowls, kind of like this, only it was 3. And then that guy, then he gets into it with Jerry Jones and leaves. And a new coach comes in and immediately wins the Super Bowl. But then the franchise does this after that. This franchise kind of does that too. They win another one, but the franchise is on its way down then because they can't keep up with what that all-time great coach did. Steve Young ended up going on to have a lot of great seasons after that, but he didn't have the winning that Montana had. I don't know. It's weird to try and put into context, I think. Anyway, Do we want to talk about old Jerry Rice before we move on?
Yeah.
Sure.
We probably should.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody in this room is going to argue with me. Obviously, there over the last couple of years has been this huge push to argue against this. I don't really understand it, but Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver of all time. And anybody that thinks otherwise, I judge them as a fan.
Yeah.
But, you know, who was it, Moss himself? I think Terrell Owens
Oh, boy.
2 years ago said that Randy Moss was the greatest receiver of all time. And a bunch of people, like prominent people in the media, like picked it up and was like, well, obviously he is. And I'm like, guys, there is no obviously better than Jerry Rice. Nobody's obviously better than Jerry Rice at anything.
No.
Like, the only thing that's obvious is that Jerry's records will probably never be broken, and he did it before the league got pass happy.
Right. Yeah. Think what he'd do now.
Yeah.
Well, he had his best season in 12 games.
Yeah.
He had 22 touchdowns in 12 games.
Yeah.
He could easily have a 30 touchdown season.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And Randy Moss only broke it by, like, what, 1, 2? And he had 4 extra games to do it.
Yeah.
The touchdowns in a season.
Like, I want you to think about this. Before the league goes pass happy, Jerry Rice is still the all-time leader in yards by 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's over Fitzgerald, who played in the pass happy league, and Fitzgerald played forever too. It's not like Fitzgerald played 10 or 12 seasons. Fitzgerald played for what, close to 20?
Mm-hmm.
Had to be, yeah.
Then Terrell Owens is another 2,000 behind him, and Randy Moss is right there with him. So like you're looking at 7,000 yards difference between Moss and Owens, Moss, and then Rice. That's a big difference. Somebody might catch his yards, maybe. A lot of it in football comes down to can you stay healthy for that long?
Yeah, and at receiver, you take a pounding.
And Jerry Rice had, like, something stupid like 17, 18,000 yard seasons. So, like, you have to be a top-of-the-line wide receiver for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
How the hell you gonna
When
do
Cooper
that?
Kupp just did the Triple Crown, he did it too. Whenever anything receiving comes up, it's someone just did it, and how many times did Jerry do it?
Right.
Yeah.
So
And Cooper's already starting to get nicked up and get hurt some.
Yeah.
Jerry was just doing it over and over and over.
Randy Moss is a 6'5" athletic freak, red zone nightmare for any team to go up against. And he played for 14 years. And Jerry Rice has 41 more touchdowns than him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and Randy Moss is second. It's not like Randy Moss is like way down the list. Randy
Right.
Moss is second. I'm comparing him to the guy that's in second place. But we're getting ready to come up against the one that's the most impressive. If I can type.
Who are you wanting to compare him to?
No, I want to bring up his reception record.
Oh, gotcha. He's got like over 1,500.
Yeah, he's got 1,549.
Yeah.
Again, Larry Fitzgerald is second, and he's 119 behind him.
Mm.
And I don't know how many years Larry played. We'll pull it up real quick.
It's pretty impressive, actually.
Number 3 and 4 Wade, Tony Gonzalez and Jason Witten.
I knew Tony Gonzalez. I didn't know Witten was quite that high. But
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think Larry Fitzgerald did that with a bunch of no-name quarterbacks outside of like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald played 17 years.
Didn't Jerry Rice play over 20?
I don't know how many Rice
21.
played.
Yeah.
16 for San Francisco, 4 for Oakland, 1 for Seattle.
Here's the big thing, and I'm not trying to knock Larry Fitzgerald because I really liked Larry Fitzgerald.
Mm.
But Jerry Rice was putting up numbers at 40 that guys don't put up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like at 40, he was still like, I'm going to get 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns this year. You know, like that's stupid. Just stupid. His 40 season, he was 40 years old. He had 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns.
I think that Raider team that they were should have went to 1 Super Bowl and they were contending for a couple more. They had old Jerry Rice, old Tim Brown, and then they got old Rich Gannon to be an MVP.
Yeah.
It was, and then it was kind of crazy. And they were all legit old too.
Yeah.
Like it's not just.
They would have won the Super Bowl.
Well, they got the Tuck Rule year, and then I think they almost made it another year. I thought
They went to the Super
They
Bowl
lost
a year
both-
with Rich Gannon.
Yeah,
They did. They
lost
They
to the
lost.
Buccaneers.
They lost to the Bucks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That crazy defense the Bucks had with Brad Johnson.
It was Brad Johnson.
Sorry, excuse me. And then was the Tuck Rule right before that or right after that?
It was after that.
Right after
The
that.
Tuck Rule
Okay.
was Charles Woodson.
Yeah,
Raiders team was good.
that would have been. Okay.
Who was the quarterback of that Tuck Rule team?
I thought Rich Gannon. I thought.
Was Gannon still there that year?
I mean, Charles Woodson came in the league in '98, so I mean, Charles Woodson was there when during that same exact time. I thought. I don't know.
The Tuck Rule game was 2002.
Oh, so
Just can't quit yawning. Well, they would have made it against the Buccaneers in what, 2001? 2000?
so this has been when the Patriots go to play. Who?
2000? Yeah. Because you all were 99, right?
That's
Right.
when they won. Yeah,
And then
99, 2000 Super
then
Bowl.
it's like the Buccaneers and then the Patriots start? Or is it the Patriots and then the Buccaneers?
No, it's the Bucks. I think the Bucks break it up.
The Bucks break up their
And
three-peat.
then the
Yeah.
Patriots.
Yeah, because we played
Because you go a year and then
we beat the Titans, and then we lost to the Patriots.
I thought
you went back the very next year.
No, I think there was
No.
a year in between.
I think that's the Bucks.
Because Warner got
The
hurt in
okay, I
between.
got this
I
figured
think.
out, guys. The Tuck Rule game is in 2000. Is the 2001 season, the 2002
Super Bowl.
playoffs?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
but they go to the Super Bowl and Rich Gannon's the MVP the next season. So it's the season
Okay.
before. You were right, Wade. It was the season before the Super Bowl appearance.
Gotcha.
So it was Rich Gannon was still he was their quarterback both those years. Yep.
Wasn't he old at that point? Like, hadn't he been in the league for a while?
I think he'd been around.
He's
a while,
36.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he was old. Like him and Jerry and Tim Brown were all kind of dinosaurs out there. They were
Good
killing
dinosaur-
people.
Oh,
Yeah,
Those dinosaurs were killing people.
I think those might have been Rich Gannon's best years, to be honest.
When you got
Oh, it
Tim
was.
Brown
It
and
was
Jerry
a hun-
Rice.
it was
you
100
got Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. Yeah.
Even at 36 and 39,
Yeah, that's crazy.
they were still routing some people up.
Because I don't think I'd even heard of Rich Gannon until he was with them.
I knew who he was, but I didn't. Wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's Rich Gannon. 'Cause he was in Kansas City before that, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he did
I
play
don't
in
get that.
KC.
How
Oh,
people
we're
are
so
going to
young.
play for Kansas City and
Yeah.
Oakland. Those two teams do not like each other.
Yeah.
It looks like he was drafted by Minnesota. Then he spent one season in Washington. Then he was in Kansas City for a while, and then he went to Oakland.
Gotcha.
No, we're still talking about Jerry Rice. I saw a TikTok the other day. It's about when Dion showed up to San Fran. Jerry said, I like Dion. He helped us win a Super Bowl, but I didn't always agree with some of Dion's.
Antics?
Yeah,
Who said that?
Jerry.
Oh,
Didn't they used to like go at it in practice? Like I thought I saw, I don't know what I was watching, but because Dion would have went. Where was he first? San Fran he was San Fran and then the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
He was
After
the
that-
Falcon too there.
Yeah,
he was a
first.
Falcon at the beginning.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about like when he went to when he was like a mercenary getting Super Bowls for people,
Oh, yeah.
and then because he popped up, and then him and Jerry Rice would like go at it in practice, and because you have like the two greatest ever at the same time playing each other every day in practice, and then after that he went and did the same thing, with like Michael Irvin and all that, and he like talked about all these battles he had in practice were probably the best battles he ever had in his career, and no one ever saw him because it was him and Jerry Rice going at it every play, over and over and over, and then him and Michael Irvin later on.
Yeah, Jerry said, I was all about business. Dion, he liked to have fun a little bit more than I did. And Jerry just smiled and said, I'll just leave it at that.
So get this. Rich Gannon comes to Oakland at 34 years old. Okay. At this point in his career, he's been in the league for 12 years. He's never thrown for 3,000 yards. Not one time in his career. His first year in Oakland, 3,800 yards. 34, 38, 4,700 yards and wins an MVP.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on in Oakland that just woke him up and, like...
Jerry Rice, Tim Brown.
Yeah.
Kansas City didn't have Jerry Rice, Tim Brown.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't he have been throwing to Chris Carter in Minnesota? Or was that too early?
Ooh, I'm not
I
sure.
mean, it was the early 90s. Would Chris
'cause-
Carter have been in Philly then?
It's because Dante
Maybe.
Culpepper showed up.
So get out of town.
All right. Well, I guess we can quit talking about Rich Gannon. He didn't make a list.
49ers
People are going to think
list.
he's a 49er.
All right. 49ers.
On the 49ers recently, they've been to 2 Super Bowls. Well, I've been alive. They haven't won either one.
Yeah, that's true. Kaepernick got him there once, and was it Alex?
Jimmy
Well, Jimmy G got him there
Jimmy
once.
G.
Yeah, I almost said
Jimmy G's.
Alex Smith for a second.
You know, he's been to some NFC championships, some Super Bowls.
Jimmy G's a winner.
They went to the NFC Championship game last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been the,
Been
what,
to
2?
At least 2.
At least 2, yeah. He's the Packers' kryptonite.
Well, that one year, wasn't it the NFC Championship game where Richard Sherman has that pass breakup in the end zone to win the game?
Then he goes nuts.
Yeah, he goes nuts and
on the-
screaming at everybody.
Had like Aaron Andrews. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Had that like ridiculous interview. I think so.
Yeah, he looked at the camera.
Because him and Crabtree hated each other.
Yeah.
And they were talking shit, and then
Was that on Crabtree or was that on Vernon
It
Davis?
was Crabtree.
yeah, that was Crabtree.
And
I think.
the crazy part is Crabtree burnt him. It was an easy touchdown, and the ball was underthrown.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder who did that. The guy that. Oh, never mind.
No, then they're thrown, and then as Richard Sherman hits it, Cam Chancellor just comes in and lays out Vernon Davis. Crabtree.
I don't even remember that part. Is it? Is it?
One of the
does it-
videos
does it
is
get-
as the
does
ball
it
gets
get
break
laid
up, someone else comes in and lights the receiver up.
Oh, that might be. I don't remember the very end of it.
But yeah, those Seahawks and 49ers teams, they went at it.
They did. They were good. They were both real good there for a few
Well, you had
years.
Patrick Willis and who was that other linebacker that?
Navarro Bowman. Alex, turn off your ads.
Sorry, I'm trying to watch the pass breakup.
They had Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman.
Navarro Bowman, yeah, sorry.
And they had that Justin Smith guy right in front of him who was a monster. And they had
Out of Mizzou.
Yeah, they had Alden Smith too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, they had the Smith. They call them the Smith brothers.
Yeah.
and
Willis and Bowman.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think they had a star safety that knocked people out too. Like they were
good.
and that was at the same time as like the Legion of Doom for Seattle. So,
Yeah.
so those two teams were kind of crazy. So what are you seeing in that video over there, Alberta?
I saw it in. Yeah, he's chasing Crabtree off the field right now.
I told you, yeah,
He goes nuts.
then Aaron Andrews like tries to interview him and he
Yeah.
like flips out.
Well, Terry Bradshaw grabs him and is like, "You can't scream at her like that." And he's like, I think Richard Sherman realized what he was doing. Like, he wasn't screaming at her,
No.
but he was like being very demonstrative when he was giving the interview.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, it didn't look
No,
good.
It didn't
no.
look good. That's what it was.
Well, I will say this: Crabtree didn't burn him as bad as I thought I remembered. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a nice play by Sherman. Crabtree doesn't even really go up after the ball much.
No, he just kind of watches it and puts his hands up behind him.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
and then Crabtree pushes him in the face mask afterwards.
I'd probably want to fight Richard Sherman too. He talked a lot.
Well, here's my thing. I've always believed it. I think Richard Sherman was a quality corner. I'm not saying he was bad or terrible or anything of the sort. He was a quality corner. But he was never, ever as good as made out to be.
No.
No, he hit on his side of the field.
He had the best safety in football playing over top of him on every play.
Yeah.
You know how many times I watched guys just flat ass run by him because he couldn't run?
Right. He wasn't that fast.
And all of a sudden, oh, here he comes. Pick off, going back the other way because for whatever reason, what is his damn name?
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas. Thank you. Earl Thomas was so good at just coming from center field and cleaning up Richard Sherman's messes.
Well, you had Richard Sherman who was really, really good at certain things, and that's what they let him do.
He was super physical at the line of scrimmage and jamming guys up.
And
Right.
he was so tall. He was good in certain situations with taller receivers.
Mhm.
He could
Well, if you had
contest
a,
the
if
jump
you,
balls.
if you had a big receiver that was like a jump ball guy, Rich Sherman was great.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he would shut him down.
Yeah, you just couldn't put him on a fast guy.
Right.
But then you had Earl Thomas, who was this all-around kind of Ed Reed-like player. Not quite Ed Reed level, but he was kind of that typish player.
One of the closest things we've seen to Ed Reed.
Yeah, if he would have actually played longer, he might have.
He got hurt, didn't he? Didn't he get hurt and mess up at the end of his career?
Well, then he
He
got
got hurt.
kicked off the Ravens.
Yeah, remember
for
he,
being a psycho.
he blew up at the Ravens
Oh.
practice.
and then no one's ever signed him ever again.
No,
Well,
yeah.
didn't he? Was it him that, or was it Sherman? They got arrested like last year for like.
That was Sherman.
That was Sherman,
Sherman
beating on
did
what
Beating on
his-
his in-laws.
in-laws,
door.
yeah.
Yeah. Sherman was, he was good. He only played the one side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he only played
Yeah,
one
He didn't
side.
follow the best receiver.
Right. But he was smart.
He
I
was.
mean,
Yes.
the guy went to Stanford. He was a smart guy, but he wasn't that fast. But he made the most of his ability.
He was.
Well, what they did was, because the Legion of Boom went down slightly when they lost the other corner. I can't remember his name. He came to Philly and he sucked. He sucked really hard. But I can't remember his name. But he was also like 6'3" and big, strong guy. And they both just manhandled receivers at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, Earl Thomas plays center field, and Cam Chancellor just ripped people's heads off when they came across the middle of the field. He essentially, because everybody thinks, or I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people think like they put Cam Chancellor in the same category as Earl Thomas. They weren't even remotely the same players. Like, he was not playing deep safety like Earl Thomas. Cam Chancellor couldn't cover me in coverage. Cam Chancellor was a middle linebacker essentially, and he played the robber role. He came he lined up. They lined up two deep safeties, but then when the snap, they went like this. People can't see me, and this is a podcast. But he came down towards the line of scrimmage, not all the way to the line of scrimmage, but he came down and played the middle of the field.
Right. They went from side by side to basically I formation.
Yes, you're right. That's a good way to put it, Uncle Doug. And
He'd light your world up.
he played behind Wagner. What'd you say?
He'd light your world up.
That's what I said. He'd rip your head off. Like,
Yes, he would.
Anyone coming across
Great
the
at crushing people.
anyone that coming across the middle 10 to 15 yards, you might as well not even think about catching the ball.
But here's the thing. This was always my
Wagner.
complaint about it, though. They were the only team in the league that they allowed to play that way, because we've taken safeties like that out of football for years. They haven't been able to play. But then they let him do that, and they let these guys just manhandle you at the line of scrimmage. We haven't seen that since the Patriots when they were beating up on the Colts.
Right.
Because that's what they would do to Harrison and Wayne. They just grab them at the line of scrimmage and manhandle them and wouldn't let them go anywhere. And then, the rules started changing, and we saw offenses succeed. And then all of a sudden, we're seeing it again. But they're the only team in football that could play that way. Why are we talking about the Seahawks, though? This is a 49ers
Right.
episode.
But hey, wait, one second before you finish. Who did the Seahawks manhandle in the Super Bowl? Peyton again. It always comes back to Peyton getting screwed over by defenses, bullying his receivers.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
The crazy thing is, though, is what's his name? Demarius Thomas had like 200 yards in that game.
Yeah. Well, he unfortunately just passed away.
Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
He was very, very good too.
He was.
He was very good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Our Mount Rushmore for the 49ers is as follows.
Talked about everybody.
Jerry Rice, wide receiver. Joe Montana, quarterback. Steve Young, quarterback. And Ronnie Lott, defensive back. So we have three offensive players and a defensive player. All of them really played at the same time. Joe and Ronnie Lott were there a little bit before these other guys. Jerry Rice outlasted everybody. Jerry Rice played a long time, but they pretty much all came from the same era. But an era that won 5 Super Bowls, so I guess we can't judge that era too harshly. So that will end our 49ers portion of this episode and lead us into trivia. And I assume you are ready, Drew?
I am. Has everyone got their boards there ready?
I am
Yeah.
ready.
I know we were trying to find some.
Fire away.
All right. What running back has the most fumbles in a season?
Ooh, in a season.
40?
This could go.
Okay. Running back with most fumbles in a season, huh?
My first thought is it's got to be someone good, or they wouldn't keep playing them.
That's true. That's true.
But at the same time, I'm like, or it's just a team that's trying to get the first pick in the draft and just doesn't give a shit.
I got my answer.
Yeah, I got an answer.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
All right. I said Tony Dorsett.
Okay.
I said Tony Dorsett.
I put Tony Dorsett.
Okay.
Said Frank Gore.
It's Joe Cribbs.
Oh,
for the Buffalo
gee.
Bills.
Oh, for the Bills.
1980, he had 16.
Wow, that's one. Well, in 1980, that'd have been more than one a game.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Whoa. Okay.
All right.
I was like,
All right. Yeah, indeed. You got an eraser, Drew?
yeah.
How about use it? Yeah. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right. It's all right if I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mine's pretty easy. Well, pretty straightforward one. I wanted to talk about this guy because he was very, very, very good, but he just had a shorter career. But Patrick Willis, he was
Yeah.
tremendous linebacker who probably would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if he wouldn't have just quit after like 8 seasons. But anyway, does anybody remember where he went to college?
Patrick Willis.
Yes. Ooh, Alex on the board, maybe.
I'm pretty confident, but then now that
Yeah.
I'm like, why would he ask me this? Because I feel like this is obvious.
I mean, it's not like a crazy school. I mean, it's a pretty popular, well-known school. I'm not trying to pull a trick.
I got an answer.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
expect you to have an answer. College question.
Yeah. I'm not very good at college questions, but I got.
Ray, you got one?
Yep, I'm in.
All right.
Miami.
I put Miami.
Oh,
Ole Miss.
okay.
USC.
It is Mississippi.
No way! I was confident in my answer. I really
Yes, Ole
was.
Miss.
I was too. I could see him just
Thank you, Wade.
hard being Miami. I'm hoping you catch me.
Did Bowman play at Miami then?
That might have been.
Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know, but could have been.
Those old Miami, those old Miami teams were good.
Oh, yeah.
my goodness.
No, there's a
There's a few different iterations of
Yeah,
them.
like the original, I think is the best with Michael Irvin and those guys.
Yeah.
But the second time they rose to prominence
know.
there was pretty good too.
That second one is dangerous.
That one
Ooh.
team. I remember we looked the other day. It was like Ed Reed, Vince Wilfork. I'm missing a bunch of people.
Edward
Greg-
James,
Greg
Edward
Olson.
Andre Johnson.
Jeremy
Andre
Shockey,
Johnson. Yeah.
Montrell Roll, Clinton Portis,
Third leg Greg.
third leg Greg. Yeah, like we're missing like probably 5 or 6 great
Oh,
Pro
yeah.
Bowl players too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easily.
you just look at the rosters.
But-
Like those are Hall of Fame Pro
But you
Bowl
know
guys.
the crazy part is neither team had a great quarterback.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Santana Moss went there.
Yeah, Santana Moss. Yep.
He was a
Yeah.
Pro Bowl guy for a long time.
Yeah, I saw they were comparing them to the 2019 LSU team with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, who would win that game.
Yeah.
Miami. Well, I guess it depends on what rules. you're
If you
gonna play
played
by.
their rules, they're getting.
There's so many freak
Yeah.
athletes. I mean, obviously both. I worded that poorly.
Both those teams were loaded.
Miami was pretty much like an NFL team, just not old enough to be in the NFL yet. Like,
Yeah, we just named like 10 guys off the top of our heads that went on to have like Pro
Yeah.
Bowl NFL
Yeah,
careers.
Great careers.
So like
4 or 5 of them were in the Hall of Fame.
like The Rock is on one of those teams.
Right. Oh,
He,
yeah.
he doesn't even play.
He backed up Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warren Sapp is also another.
Yeah,
Miami.
Warren Sapp.
There's
Yeah,
another one, yeah.
Warren
you know,
Sapp.
first ballot Hall of Famer Warren
Yeah.
Sapp.
Super Bowl
Yeah.
winner Warren
Ray
Sapp.
Lewis went to Miami.
Yeah, Ray Lewis. Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, we didn't even name off like the 2 best ones.
that's true. That's
Ray
true.
Lewis. We don't talk about Ray Lewis on the podcast.
That's true. Yeah,
The Ravens episode,
we're
we
like,
skipped right over
yeah, we're like Ray Lewis, and then never said a word about
Yeah,
it.
that was it.
Let's do a trivia question.
Okay. All right. What 49er quarterback went on to have a successful career on the senior PGA Golf Tour? I mean, he had several top 10 finishes, even won a tournament on the senior tour. After he finished playing quarterback for the 49ers.
All right, I got to guess.
It's cool.
It is cool.
It's gonna be some old guy.
You know who they say is really? I mean, he's not a football player, but he's a professional athlete. Is really, really good at golf. Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's good.
I've seen stuff about him golfing.
Wow.
But
Yeah, because Steph actually played, I think, in a PGA event.
he did. He
Yeah,
played in a
yeah.
pro.
Yeah, he made
Yeah.
it into an event. So
Uh-huh.
Pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Charles Barkley still can't swing right.
It's better.
Is
Yeah.
it?
It's better than
Yeah,
what it was.
It is
a
better.
whole lot of lessons. and
I
improved a little
got a
bit.
guess. I don't know.
Does everybody got an answer?
Yeah, I got an answer.
Not yet. Hold on.
I'll give you a hint, Ray. It's not Kaepernick.
Oh, damn. That was my answer.
He doesn't
I
know.
will say my backup question, this is for Drew. In the 88 NFC Championship game, the 49ers beat the Bears 28-3 at Soldier Field. And temperature at game time, 26 below zero.
Eee.
Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine playing football at 26 below?
Wow. That would
Yeah.
hurt to even hit people. Like
And I
that
mean,
would-
we've been to Soldier Field, and you know how the wind comes off the lake?
That was week 1, Dad. I got kind of cold.
Yeah, I mean, the wind just whips through that stuff. Oh, man, I can't imagine.
No,
that
those
wind at
diehard
26
Bears fans that
below.
are there week 18
Ugh.
for playoff games, I give it to them.
there's like people like in Buffalo and Green Bay, like during January, and they have like no shirts on and they're
Oh,
cheering.
yeah, some of the,
I'm
yeah.
like, that
Yeah.
shit's psycho.
Yeah, that's too much alcohol.
I mean, I can't comment on
They
that.
got antifreeze.
You ready, Ray?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
All
I
right.
said Brody.
I just said
I
Montana.
put Steve Young.
I said Rich Gannon.
Alex got it. It's John Brody.
Which was a guess, guys. I knew I wasn't going to guess Montana or Young because I feel like I'd have known that.
Well, I didn't know anybody else.
I thought about
That didn't
Jeff
qualify like
Garcia or
age-wise.
something.
Like Alex Smith and them obviously aren't old enough to be on the senior tour yet.
All right. Ray, you got one?
Yeah, I think so. If I haven't said it already. We'll find out. By winning percentage, which active quarterback owns the best career record as an underdog? Minimum 10 games.
Oh, you really screwed me up when you said
I'm
underdog.
sorry.
Me too.
I was getting ready to
I paid
write.
no attention to the.
I got a
Uh,
message on my
wow.
phone, so I didn't hear any of it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so by winning percentage,
Okay.
which active quarterback owns the best career record as an underdog?
Okay.
Minimum 10 games.
All right.
It's an underdog. I think it's someone that's good, but their team's not good enough to be.
Yep. I got mine.
I got to guess.
Yeah, mine's definitely a guess.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, this marker's taking a fat dump on me. I had that pick up a brown marker now instead.
All right. Where'd you get this question at, Ray?
Do you ought to know?
Get up.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody got one?
Yeah.
Yep.
I said Burrow.
Say Kirk Cousins.
Put Matt Ryan.
I said Jimmy G.
And the correct answer is porn star Jimmy with a 12-4 record.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. I don't remember the last time I got two questions right the same night.
I think you're in striking distance of me now.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
I gotta wait.
Sorry. All right.
Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. He's not in striking distance of Drew, but he's 3 points behind you.
I don't think
so.
any of us can really catch Drew at this point. Yeah.
You're 6 points behind him.
I'd have to get
so.
Yeah, I'm not going to get
I guess next week is our last week, isn't it? So yeah.
You have to get
So-
every other question right to tie me from here on out.
Yeah, so.
And that's without me getting one right.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
You haven't got one right tonight, Drew.
That's fine.
All right, I got my question.
Welcome to the Champions Club.
All right. The San Francisco 49ers have retired the number 12 for what player?
Well, it's not him or him.
I'll give you a hint, guys. It's not Jerry Rice.
Oh, really? Really? All right. I'm gonna try this out. I mean, I got nothing to lose.
I'm not gonna pronounce the guy's last
I don't know if
name.
that's true, Drew. but
Okay, I got one.
I mean, I got some decent logic behind this because all the other 49ers I know their numbers. And I know they're not 12.
Everybody, you got an answer then?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, what you got?
But
Put
Go
Brody.
I'm probably pronouncing it like Joe Mazzolini, something like that. I don't know.
I said Brody.
I couldn't come up with one.
It's Brody,
Rock
Yeah,
on, baby.
3.
the 1970 NFL MVP.
Yeah. That's my biggest. I think this is my biggest week ever.
Is it?
3?
3. Yeah.
I'll say it was probably definitely your biggest week in football. I don't know about
Yeah.
basketball, but yeah.
You did have some big weeks in basketball.
I think everybody had big weeks. There's a lot of weeks. A lot of weeks. Oh, sorry.
Hey Doug, I'll make you a deal. I'll take one off Joe if I can give that to you for a trivia answer.
All right, guys. In our second to last episode of football, our trivia standings are as follows. In first place is Drew. He's over here shaking his fist.
I've clinched, baby. Listeners, fans, I didn't just get me a podium finish. I got me the dub this season.
The dub.
I joined Wade in the Champions Club.
Right on, bruh. Right on.
With 35 points. In second place is Wade with 28 points. And third place is Uncle Doug with 25 points. Or no, sorry, 26. Now you just got a point. 26 points.
Good
Sorry.
catch me.
And then next is myself with 17 points. And the guests have 7, and Ray has 5.
Come on, Ray. You gotta get at least 2 next week.
Yeah, you got it, Ray.
Yeah.
Make a trip to the island, a little
bring that
refreshing.
bottle.
Yeah.
And
Need to
you're
go
right.
bring,
Have
need to
some
go bring that
answers.
book, Football for Dummies.
Just in case he gets a couple right, have a guest answer one right. I'll sneak Bob in or something.
Yeah, that's what Wade needs, about 5 guests right now to get him a shot. That's not happening.
So that is our standings going into the final week. So it does appear that Drew has wrapped up the football trivia championship.
I didn't wrap it up quite as soon as Wade did in basketball.
That's true.
Yeah.
We even cheated at the end and couldn't catch it.
It's true.
But did we ever decide whether Wade had to give up his trophy or we were getting a second one?
Buying a second one. Buying a second one.
Where is it, Wade?
It's up next to my powerlifting trophies that I won.
Oh, okay.
I'm not joking, really.
All right, fair
I have
enough.
a deadlifting trophy and a bench press trophy, and then it's right in between them.
There you go. And trivia for the podcast.
Yeah, a trivia trophy that no one even knows probably what it's about, but it's fine.
All right, fair enough. We appreciate you tuning in for this 49ers episode, a unanimous episode.
Yeah.
Yes. We would appreciate you tuning in next week for our final football episode, the Arizona Cardinals. We also want to remind you about our upcoming baseball episodes. We're going to have our first baseball episode coming your way in 2 weeks. We're excited to start a new sport, get some listens in on the baseball. We'll have the 3 greatest catchers in Major League Baseball history is our first episode. So please tune in for that one as well. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.